Hey, all, Michael Lunsford here, Citizens for New Louisiana, and happy sine die, I suppose. They ended session the other day. Basically, if you're not a political geek, that means they have adjourned forever until the next session comes along, which is fine. During session, the Senate Finance Committee removed $50 million, a little more, but roughly $50 million from the Gator Scholarship Fund. Now, the purpose of that fund is to move kids out of failing public schools. Well, they're trapped. They can't do anything else. We have laws in the state of Louisiana. They are compelled to attend school whether it's benefiting them or not. So for those parents who are concerned and want to make a change, we have the Gator Scholarship Program, which allows them to move to a charter or private school, and some of the costs are covered by the state of Louisiana. Effectively, what they would send to public school would go to the private school, or if the tuition is less, I assume that would mean they would be less. At any rate, before we get into the weeds, the idea is we don't have the money. We don't have $50 million for the Gator Scholarship Fund for these at-risk kids, so we're just not going to do it. In the same amendment, the very same amendment, they spent something like $80 million on just stuff. And so what I'm going to do in this little video is we're going to open up our old friend, Mr. Handy Dandy Calculator. Here he is. We're going to clear him out. Handy Dandy, it's zero for the moment. We're going to go through some of these. In fact, it worked out. There's more than these. I found 29. We're going to call them somewhat egregious expenditures that didn't have to happen. And it's a lot. Anyway, let's go through this. So the last one we posted, I just have this one here for fun. Louisiana gearing up to cut wasteful spending. Because, let's face it, that's what they did. They got the smallest pair of scissors they could, and they didn't cut anything. They just, let's go through some of this. So, we spent $7 million on a golf tournament. So I'm going to add that into our little calculation here. We're just going to go with the big number, 7 plus. We spent $5 million for a bowling tournament. $5 million for a bowling tournament. All right. Plus 5. We spent $154,500 on a stuffed shrimp festival. So that's, let's do 0.15. Okay. We spent $7.25 million on unnamed projects. So for project completion, we have no idea what the projects are. We don't know what department requested it. We don't know what legislator requested it. But there were 2 in there totaling $7.25 million. So plus 7.25. Oh, by the way, we're up to $20 million already. So $1.5 million for gymnastics competitions or tournaments, plus $1.5 million. I know this wasn't that much money in the grand scheme of things. I know to you and I, $100,000 is a lot of money. Well, in the state of Louisiana, not so much. They gave it away for qualifying boat races. $100,000. I know it's not that big a deal. We're going to put in 0.1 in the grand scheme of things, but I just wanted to show you how egregiously stupid some of this stuff is. Here is $500,000 for an air show. Let's add that in. Plus 0.5. All right. A UFC event. $1.5 million. Plus 1.5. Here we go. This was one of the big ones. They moved out of HB1, the state budget, they moved $21.5 million into the state supplemental spending fund. So we're going to add that in, plus 21, we'll call it $0.5 million. Okay? By the way, if you're wondering where we are currently at $44.5 million. 44.5. We can't find $50 million for the kids, but we can find $44 million so far. And we're not even through all of this. All right? Plus, what do we have next? $300,000 for a state fair. State fair. $300,000. 0.3. $100,000 for the McNeil Street Pumping Station Waterworks Museum. So this isn't even infrastructure. This is a museum about infrastructure. You can't make this stuff up. Plus $100,000 for that. The Department of Health has an entry in here. It's on page 11 of the amendment, which, by the way, it's 2516 is the amendment number to HB 1, House Bill 1, the state budget. It's $1.7 million to figure out or to study how to save money. $1.7 million. We're going to add that in. 1.7 plus. We have this one was, I have no idea what this is. They spent $8 million for taste testing kits. $8 million for taste testing. That's a tongue twister. Taste testing kits. Plus $8 million. So by the way, we are now over the $50 million mark. We're at $54.6 million is where we are so far. And this isn't even all of it. So we've already funded the Gator Scholarship Program for a bunch of new kids that are eager to get out of their failing schools. And yet, this is what we spent the money on instead. Here we go. This is, by the way, gambling in the state of Louisiana, if you're not aware, there's a constitutional amendment. Gambling is illegal in the state of Louisiana. So we don't call it gambling, as typical in Louisiana. We call it gaming. And we spent $1.53 million to treat gaming addiction. Because you can't have gambling in the state of Louisiana. So state-sponsored gaming, by the way. So here's another one. $1 million for a free book club for kids. So this originally was set up like 2023 through legislative action. They created this program for free books for kids, and they said it was going to be 100% privately funded. Well, I guess privately means you, the taxpayer. So that's $1 million. Let's go ahead and add that in as well. Did I get 153? I did. So we're going to add in $1 more million. Then we have the Horse Farm or Munkus Park or Lafayette Central Park, depending on what day of the week. They have all these aliases, we'll call them. So they have $1.2 million. Now, if you're in the area and you want to stop at Munkus Park, you have to pay to park your car still. Even though you gave them $1.2 million, they're still going to charge you for parking. $1.2 million, by the way. We're at $58 million so far. $525,000 for various fairs and festivals around the state of Louisiana. That's economic development at its finest. Fairs and festivals. Did we add that in yet? Plus $0.525. All right. $184,500 for a stuffed shrimp museum. Now, we had counted this earlier, the stuffed shrimp festival, and there's a stuffed shrimp museum. It didn't specify how much of the money went to which or the other, but they were both included in $154,000. So I'm not going to calculate it into the calculator because we counted it already, but this is the kind of junk we're doing, y'all. This was a big one, and it didn't get the attention it deserved. This graphic right here was a bunch of museums and exhibits. In fact, I missed an exhibit, the Health and Wellness exhibit, or expo, excuse me. I was searching for exhibits through the thing, and I didn't think of expo. That's an extra $100,000. So we had originally said we had wasted $696,000. We now know that is $796,000. We'll call it $800,000 just because. So let's plus 0.8. All right. $400,000. They're having conversations in these committees about, we have bridges out. If you notice this graphic, I have it circled here. It says bridge out. Bridge out. But they're going to spend $400,000 instead on a bike trail. Plus 0.4. This is Gator Scholarship money. They could have gone to Gator Scholarship, but instead went to frivolous stuff. So Morgan City, $100,000 for swimming pool upgrades, plus 0.1. This one got a lot of people upset. the owner of the Saints and the Pelicans, Ms. Gail Benson. This is not her, by the way, but it might look like her, I don't know. I don't know what she looks like. At any rate, this graphic, $1 million, $1.1 million went to pay for, we don't know, the Pelicans and the Saints, plus $1.1 million. All right? If you're wondering where we are at 61.2. Probably round that up to $61.3 million. All right, let's keep moving because we have 29 of these that I pulled out. This is $915,000 for the brand new Office of Highway Construction. No, this is not the Department of Transportation Development. It is the Office of Highway Construction. Never mind, you and I would think they do the same thing. Obviously, they're not doing the same thing. Maybe the argument could be made that Department of Transportation does not do highway construction. At any rate, that's a debate for another day. 0.915 for that one. So we think LA Doge is, this is called the Program for the Promotion of Efficiencies and Effective Operations. Now I want you to listen, by the way, it's $1.5 million, $1.5 million. I want you to listen to that title again. Program for the promotion of efficiencies and effective operations. So it doesn't say to achieve, it doesn't say to pursue, it says to promote. To me, that sounds like marketing. So we're going to spend plus $1.5 million on marketing how to save. You can't make this stuff up. If you add this to the Department of Health version of the same thing, well, that's, what is that, $3.2 million to study how to save money. It's ridiculous. Here's another $2 million. Let me add that in. Plus 2. For 8 vague economic development districts. Special delivery. They're bringing you the money in little bitty baggies, right? $2 million. We are spending $503,808. That is a very specific amount of money. I'm actually kind of shocked it's that specific. Why didn't they put in the 25 cents, for a commuter train between New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama. Because, Mobile can't afford a commuter train, so they lean on us to get one. We're going to add in plus, we'll just call it $500,000, 0.5. University of New Orleans. Now, this is another one I want to bring some attention to. They spent $20 million for their debt service because they spent so much money. They're not business people, obviously. So they spent more than they had, and they ended up having to get a bailout for $20 million. There is a separate amendment in the Senate floor for another $15 million. So that total is $35 million. We're going to be nice. I'm only going to count the $20 million. So plus $20 million to bail out UNO. All right. $5 million for unnamed marketing initiatives for economic development in the state of Louisiana. All right. Let's add that in. Plus $5 million. And of course, it's, again, in the grand scheme of things, $250,000 isn't really a lot of money. But the reason I had an issue with this one, plus 0.25, is because Cleo Fields is no longer in the Senate, and they keep sending his organization, Leadership Institute, which is kind of out in Baton Rouge around Central, his organization, another $250,000. So that's the list. Those are the 29 that I found. If we don't count the extra $15 million in bailout for UNO, then we are at $91 million. Just to help you do the math, if we are going to count the $15 million extra, you are at $106,420,000 in frivolous spending that could have gone to the Gator Scholarship Fund. In fact, based on the calculations we just did, and it's not even everything in the amendment. There's still more in there. There's millions more in that amendment for other frivolous things that I just didn't get to. We could have done Gator Scholarship times 2. We could have doubled it to get more kids out of these failing public schools that are teaching indoctrination instead of math and reading and science and all that stuff. So tell me what you think. Leave a comment below. Love to hear from you. Call your legislator. Call your House rep and your senator in the state of Louisiana. This isn't federal. This is Louisiana. So don't call your congressman. Call Call them up. Ask them, why did y'all approve this? It got through the Senate. It got to the House. No objection. That's how it passed. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Catch you next time.